Today we're going to talk about how to grip the golf club correctly. Now there's a bunch of different ways to grip it. There's not one way that's perfect, but there's certain similarities that every good grip has, and we're going to cover those as well. If you haven't already, consider giving my video a like and also subscribing to the channel. All these videos are going to be free, trying to help you guys have more fun on the golf course and enjoy yourself more and impress your buddies a little bit more. Today we're talking about grip, obviously. Let's talk about the big thing that most amateurs get wrong, that every good grip needs to have correctly. And that's how we grip the club with our lead hand. Left hand for right-handed golfers, right hand for left-handed golfers. As a right-handed golfer, here I want this club, you can see I have two lines in my glove, one red, one green. I want this club to sit more in my fingers. And when I lay this club on my fingers, you're gonna see the fatty part of my right palm, the club is gonna sit right underneath that, okay? Okay, so now to check that I make sure that I have the grip correctly in my left hand, I can release all of my fingers except for my index finger, and I should be able to hold this club out without it falling, okay? Why? Because it's sitting underneath that little fat part of our palm here on the right side, and it's pushing up against that. Okay, that's how I know that I have the club in the correct position and more in my fingers. What we see a lot from amateur golfers and higher handicaps is this red line here. They're gonna run the club down this red line. And what that is, it's more in the center of the hands. It's gonna run, we have two fat parts of our palm here. They're gonna run it right on the center of this instead of underneath here. So what happens when they run it in the center there's two big things that happen. Number one, they don't get as much feel in their fingers, okay? And more importantly, they're limiting their wrist hinge and how vertical they can set the club. Because if I run this club on that red line here, okay, and I try to hinge my wrist as much as possible, that's as much hinge in my wrist as I can produce, and that's as vertical as I can make the club. But if I keep my wrist in the same position and I run this club along the green line, okay, look how much more vertical the club is now that I have my wrist in this position. So I don't hear enough people talking about that, how a simple grip change for most golfers can help you set the club more, okay? Help you get the club a little more vertical and create a little more speed. So that is absolutely huge. Make sure you're gripping the club in the fingers and right underneath that right palm. Now let's talk about sticking our right hand on the club, okay, for right-handed golfers. Again, we want to feel this grip in the fingers, okay? We're going to feel that in the fingers. So what I like to do is grab the shaft up at the skinny part, because then you can really feel that it's in your fingers, and just slide your hand down the shaft and grip the club. Now it comes to that point where we can talk about the different grips you can take. Okay, there's a 10-finger grip, okay, that's more like a baseball grip, as we call it, where all 10 fingers are on the grip. There's an overlapping grip, which I use, okay, where the right pinky overlaps in between the index and the middle finger of the left hand. Okay, that's also acceptable. All three of these are acceptable. Okay, and then there's the interlock grip. Okay, the overlap grip will be 9 fingers. Okay, 9 fingers are touching, the pinky finger's not really touching. So we did 10, 9. The interlock is gonna be the 8-finger grip where there's 8 fingers touching the grip, okay? This is what you see most tour players using, is the interlock grip. And if I'm starting out, or if I'm teaching somebody, I'm gonna try to teach them the interlock grip because that's what we see mostly on tour. So obviously that's gonna be, one of the better ways to grip the club. You see Tiger Woods do it. I overlap, it's just something I've always done. That's where I'm comfortable with, and that's just what I do. Like I said, all these are acceptable. So we know we have the 10-finger, the overlap, and the interlock, where the pinky and the index finger, they interlock, okay? One thing I didn't mention on our left hand, here as I grab a tee real quick, is the thumb and the index finger should be pretty tight, okay? We don't want to see the thumb getting away from the index finger. They should be pretty tight here. And in fact, you should be able to hold a tee in between your thumb and your index finger on your lead hand. And now what I can do is bring the right hand down the shaft like we talked about before and lay the right hand over top of the left hand. So the thumb on the left hand should sit right in the middle of our right hand, okay? We talked about how we don't want to run the club, okay, through the middle here of our left hand, but on the right hand, we're going to run the thumb right in between there, almost like a hot dog. This is the hot dog bun. The left thumb is a hot dog, and we're gonna just go ahead and put that hot dog in the bun. So we have the fingers, okay, the right hand, we have the fingers on the grip. The right hand palm is hot dog bunning the left the left finger, thumb, hot dog. Okay, these words we're just a lot of words going over and over again, but I think you guys kind of get the point there, and that's going to give us a good position. Okay, again, I do the overlap grip here. The last really portion that I want to talk about here is a strong grip, a neutral grip, and a weak grip. What is that? Okay, so let's just talk about this for a second. If I were to just hold my hands down by my waist, naturally, without thinking, where would my hands be? Well, they naturally go on kind of this angle here, a little bit of a 45 degree. They don't naturally sit this way, and they don't naturally sit this way. If you just run your arms down, they're naturally like this, like a 45 degree. Okay, so if I hold this club with my left hand on essentially a 45 degree angle, that's gonna be a neutral club face. I drew a little bit of an arrow here on my left hand, because as you grip the club with your left hand, you're gonna notice your thumb and your index finger make a little bit of an arrow, okay? To check whether your grip is neutral, that V, or that arrow, that V, should be pointing at your right ear, okay? If that's pointing at your right ear, that's gonna be a more neutral club face. Why? Because, again, it's gonna feel like our hands are about on a 45 degree angle on this club. Now, if I get strong here, okay, with my left hand being strong, we're gonna see more knuckles. We're gonna see more knuckles on our left hand, and we're gonna see more of the top hand of our glove, or the logo of your glove, okay? That's gonna make that V point at my right shoulder, okay? If my V is pointing at my right shoulder, I know I have a strong grip. What makes it a strong grip? Well, when I return my hands back to neutral, the hands laying at a 45 degree angle, you're gonna notice the club face is now closed, okay? If I have a strong grip and my hand goes back to where it normally is, or where its natural position, you're gonna see the club face closed. So that's why it's considered strong. More of a logo at the top, more V at the right shoulder. For your right hand, for a right-handed golfer, more palm is gonna be a stronger grip, okay? So more logo for your left hand, more of your palm sitting underneath here is a stronger grip. Again, why is that? Because if my right hand returns back to its normal position, the club face is closed, okay? Left hand, normal position, club face closed. Right hand, if I grab it with more palm showing and I return it to its normal 45, the club closes. Okay, so that's important to know. Now let's talk about a weak grip. A weak grip is more where you're not gonna see as much knuckles on your left hand, okay? And you're gonna see that V pointing more towards my chin or my left ear. Okay, that's gonna be a really weak grip. That's gonna cause the club face to open. When I bring it back down to my normal 45, you're gonna see that the club face is open. For the right hand, you're gonna see more knuckles, okay? And more of the top of your hand is more of a weaker grip. Okay, so when I return that back to a 45, pull it up, that opens the club face. Okay, so a weaker grip is gonna be a more open club face. A stronger grip is gonna lead to a more closed club face. Obviously a neutral grip, if you return your hands back to where they typically should be, it's gonna be more of a square club face. Now, there's not one perfect way to grip the club. I'm not gonna say here that you need to have a little bit of a stronger grip, or you need to have a weaker grip, or a neutral grip. I'm not gonna tell you that, because it's all about your matchups, your wrist angles, how much you rotate. It's really gonna just change for most golfers. You're gonna find golfers that have won major championships with a weak grip, and you're gonna find golfers that have won major championships with a strong grip. So I'm not gonna tell you what you need to have. But if you do struggle with leaving the club face open, maybe a little bit of a stronger grip will help you. Vice versa, if you do struggle with closing the face, maybe a weaker grip will help you. So I hope this video helps you guys understand the grip a little bit. The main thing I want you to take away from this is to make sure we're holding the grip in your fingers. And if you are going through a grip change, it can be so hard. Spend the time at home when you're watching TV or you have some downtime, just holding the club. It's amazing how much, if you can just hold the club for hours at home, you get out to the course, it's naturally gonna go in that position. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. We're making these instructional videos every single week for you. And we're making some other videos as well, some course vlogs. We're doing some really, really cool stuff on the channel. So I hope you guys can be a part of it and subscribe. Thank you so much for the support. Really means a lot. We'll see you next time.